right, so I picked up this 1926 Ford Model T Roadster, and what can I say? It's complete. It runs, drives, it's in great condition. I don't have to do anything to it, other than the roof has a small, rip in it. But, other than that, it's going to be sitting in a garage, and I can take my time to find a new roof, because parts for these are readily available. There's so many of them. There were, I believe, in the year that this was made in 1926, there was like 15 million of them made or something. They were mass produced, but a lot of them were destroyed, and there's a reason why they don't want these around today. Well, probably a couple reasons. A, because they're very slow. B, because they're kind of unsafe. But, I'd like to think that the real reason they don't want these around is because they run forever. This is a 97-year-old car as of this year, as of 2023. But I'd like to think that, they probably don't want cars to run forever in this day and age, because why would they? I mean, you get a new cell phone that's $1,000 every 2 years. Not even. People get a new one every year, every time there's a new cell phone, which is ridiculous. Things are made to be disposable these days, and also things are made to be fixed by a professional or the company that built them. This car can be fixed with an adjustable wrench and a flathead screwdriver. You can do everything you want on this car. It's not very easy to drive, as you'll see in a minute. I guess I could talk about that, but I take a ride in it later in this video, and it's something, I mean, you got to be doing like 5 different things at once. People couldn't be on their cell phones or messing with the radio driving this car. You have to just drive this car. It doesn't drive for you by any means. But it's, a piece of American history. This is Henry Ford still, pre-World War II, solid still. It's a solid car. It's beautiful. They don't make things like this anymore. All our steel in America now, most of it comes from China. We really don't see cars like this. I mean, if I take this out, just driving it up the street and test driving it, had maybe 14 people, screaming at me, waving at me, because these just aren't, there's plenty of them out there. If you go to a car show, you might see 20 of them, but they're just not your average car anymore. And why would they be? I mean, this has a max speed of 42 miles per hour. It's weird. So I guess we'll get to, what all is involved and how you drive this thing. Okay, so first of all, I have to say this thing is in excellent condition. It even came with a leather, hand whatever to make this more comfortable. Slide that on there, and you crank this up. But I don't use this because it has an electric start, and it has a battery that goes in the trunk that, well, it's not in the trunk, but it's about here underneath the trunk. And so I guess we'll start with, okay, so this is like almost to your distributor. There's like magnetos in there, and you have to have this adjusted, and then your throttle is over here on that lever. So you're constantly adjusting your throttle, and this is the brake lever, and then that is your clutch, that's reverse, and that's the brake. So if you hold that the whole way down, you're in low gear. If you leave it halfway out, you're in neutral. If you let it the whole way back, you're in second gear. Low gear and high gear, they say. So it was confusing, but it was really fun. It was a fun experience, and I know a lot of people are going to be upset because I traded my gasser for this. And people would say, well, man, you traded a car. Look at this windshield wiper. I mean, stuff like that. You can't, that's amazing. Even though a lot of people would say, oh, that's stupid. But, you know, to me, that's gold right there. Like, that is so cool. Like, you know, if you wanted to use your windshield wipers, that you did it with your hand. Wouldn't recommend driving this in a rainstorm. But let's check this out a little bit. So I don't have to do anything to this car. It's done. It's a done deal the way it is. So let me throw the light on here. So this is, you know, a little water pump that spins. This is the magneto box, and you don't want to touch that or you will get electrocuted, I'm told. These two wires that are hanging off, I haven't figured that out yet. I think they might be for the horn, but let's see what's going on the other side. All of this stuff functions, guys. I drove this already, but I'm just filming this afterwards because I was too excited to do a video right away. But this is all, as far as I know, original, and I'm just super stoked about it. I couldn't be any more excited about this car if I tried to be. And the cool thing is it was all unexpected and unplanned. It started out, I was just on Facebook Marketplace fishing for anything cool, and this is what, you know, came about. Someone offered to trade me for the gasser, and though it was really hard to part with, I love that gasser. I mean, you guys know, if you follow along on my videos, I built that thing. I learned how to weld on that thing, and it was, you know, kind of sentimental to me. But in this in the car world, like, sentimental value really doesn't mean anything. It's just, you know, what's cooler and what functions better, and, you know, what's more practical. Even though I can't use that excuse with this, because this car is not a practical car, but it is neat, and I have nothing more to do to it. So these plugs and wires are brand new. Let's see, it is made in the USA. There's no doubt about it. No Chinese parts on this. There's the fuel and starter, and yeah, there's the Auga horn that I don't know that it works, because I think it's unhooked because the button didn't work, so I'll have to figure that out. Has wood wheels. That's what came on them, and that's what I'm going to keep on it. I'm not going to hot rod this, guys. I'm not going to do what I did to the 30 Model A. This is a Model T, obviously, but I'm gonna leave it as is, because it's really hard to explain. This lighting in here is terrible, and, you know, it makes it look like a cloudy, foggy, you know, glare in the camera. But this thing is, you know, it has its little, you know, little tiny whatever, but like it has its natural patina, and it's beautiful. Like it really is beautiful. There's nothing to do to it. I'm not going to do anything to it. All right, so let me grab. I seem to have misplaced the keys. I'm going to have to figure that out, but I can open that. First of all, that literally takes a skeleton key. It has a skeleton key and then an ignition key. But that's where the battery goes. The trunk in here is solid. Everything is solid in this car. I got really lucky, you know, with this car. There's nothing wrong with it, other than, you know, the horn isn't hooked up or something. There's the spare tire, even though it is screwed because it has this tear in it, but the inner tube's still good in it. But you know, for what it is, I'm not too happy about that painted on R. I don't know what that is. I don't condone painting things on your car, or I mean, if it was a hot rod maybe, but on this car I would have never done that. There's the sole brake light and license plate bracket, but I mean, you know, there's no gauges, guys, just voltage. You know, that's it. That's all you get. And you have to have this position, you know, when you start it, you have to have it on battery or magneto. If you pull it from the front, if you crank it, little rear view mirror there. I mean, it's as simple as it gets, and it will, you know, it's 97 years old and it runs fine. I mean, it started right up, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. But this is what I did. I went out and I traded the gasser for this, and there's other reasons why as well. And I know this sounds like a stupid reason. Really, the true first reason, first and foremost, was because I've always wanted one of these complete and in its, you know, original state. This is like a museum piece. Like I'll just leave this as is and take care of it, and I'll probably keep it forever. But the other nice thing is I can fit it out there in the carport where I built the Model A, and then I can dedicate this whole garage to the 58, and I can park the 58 in here now and still have room to move around it. And if I really want to, I can, if I ever get my Cadillac that I really want, I can push the Cadillac over there on the, you know, wheel dollies, and I can park both cars in here. So I can have my 3 cars indoors, you know, where they're going to be out of the weather, and that's my goal. But let's get this thing started and take a ride.